What is up, boys and girls? It's your pal right here, Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders, coming at you with some breaking news. This Wednesday, is it? Yeah, it's Wednesday already. How about that? Time is just flying over here as far as the month of July goes. But we got some breaking news for you guys for Wednesday, July 2nd, 2014. This is pretty much fresh after a very positive episode of WWE Raw where we saw a lot of people return, such as Chris Jericho, AJ Lee, the Miz. I mean, it was a pretty solid episode. If you guys had missed Raw, you can definitely piggy on back and check out our review for it as it's here on our YouTube channel right after you get done with this. But we got some breaking news, and we're actually following up as we had talked in depth about this on our Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show, which you can catch on the downloads through Stitcher, iTunes, and Blog Talk Radio. It looks like WWE Diva Tenille Dashwood, you all know her better as Emma. She was released by WWE earlier this afternoon. Now, WWE, they did release a statement. They kept it short, sweet, and very simple. They had, and direct quote, WWE has come to terms on the release of WWE Diva Emma. As of today, July 2nd, 2014, WWE wishes Emma the best in all her future endeavors. Now, we got to rewind it back just a little bit so that you all can really grasp what all had came about leading to this. Basically, you got to go 24 hours ago. You got to go back to before Raw had even came on, as it came to us from Hartford, Connecticut this respected week. Emma had went to a local Walmart store in Hartford, and basically she made a purchase of $30 worth of goods. Upon exiting, I guess, security for that store, they had caught up with her and they apprehended her. They let her know that she did not pay for an item, and in this case, the item in question was a iPad mini case. Let me just make sure I stress that. It was an iPad mini case, which has a estimated retail value of a little bit over $21 and some change. So maybe after taxes, you might be looking at about 22 something. And rather than the Walmart employees, supervisor, etc., basically say to her, hey, look, you didn't pay for this item. If you want it, we can definitely ring you up. Instead, they went on ahead, they apprehended her, they called the police. She was arrested for shoplifting. She had posted bond shortly after that. Matter of fact, her sentence and all that was done very quickly, as it looks like, according to TMZ, they were informed by the cops that Emma was charged with the misdemeanor of lunacy in the sixth degree. And it turns out the legal system in Hartford is being described as lightning quick, as she had already went to court and was sentenced to 1 day of community service. So you all that are familiar with her on Twitter, you follow her and all that, you all may be familiar with some of the tweets that she had put out. She didn't acknowledge the incident that had came about. However, she was tweeting right along with folks on key things that were happening throughout the night. She definitely had spoke about the Diva matches in particular. She spoke about what was going on with Summer Rae and how she had that nice little kiss there with Dolph Ziggler. She also talked about Paige losing the Divas Championship to AJ. But I never did see an official tweet come from her basically saying, hey, look, I apologize for what had went down earlier, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Her lawyer is basically describing this as a case where it was just a accident that was made, nothing more, nothing less. She simply forgot. And as I said on our Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show, how many of us have been in that position over the years where we're at our favorite electronics store or we're at a grocery store and we're buying our goods, and as we make our way out of that establishment, we're getting ready to go to our car, whatever, man, we realize as we're putting our things up, or it might not even happen right there when we're at our car. It might not come until we're like maybe at our house, and then we kind of realize the hard way, oh snap, didn't pay for this, what to do? 9 times out of 10, depending on the type of conscience that you have, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to say, if it was reasonably cheap, you're probably going to just chalk it up and say, Well, the last thing I want to do is have them accuse me of shoplifting or whatever. Then again, they might not say that if you're coming back to tell them, hey, I didn't get this rung up the last time I was here. Can you ring me up now? Most of us will probably be like, you know what? Hey, it's over and done with. Forget about it. But unfortunately, this was not the case for Emma, as you know, she did forget, like many of us. But rather than have the opportunity to pay for the item, instead, this is what happened. And I'm very curious how Walmart operates. I've said this time and time again. I can't stand Walmart. The customer service is piss poor. The people that work there, they act as though they're depressed as hell. They're not smiling. Practically every single Walmart I have been to, the people there, they just have this sad ass depressing look on their face, like, somebody please point a gun to my head and pull the trigger already. I don't want to work here anymore. This is miserable. Myself, my girlfriend, many times we've gone to a Walmart, the customer service has just not been up to par. Real quickly, I can tell you an incident that had came about in recent memory. It was like one of the last times that I had attended my girl to a Walmart. We had got a cashier that was ringing up our goods with one hand, and he was looking at his cell phone with the other hand. And when it came time to be like, okay, transaction's over, this is how much you owe, he basically was just doing his thing on his phone, and he just basically turned the price on the screen. He basically turned it our way so that we could see the price. Didn't even acknowledge us, all that. Wouldn't even say hello. And we asked him how he was doing. We got a lame ass, you know, and just something about the customer service there. It's like really, really crappy. You know, my whole thing is I wonder what the surveillance footage, if any, shows of Emma. You know, does it actually show her going into the aisle where these iPad mini cases were, pick it up, and then does it follow her as she's making the rounds of her shopping right on up to checkout? Like, from the time that she entered the store to checkout, my whole thing is, okay, is there footage that shows that she tried to conceal this item and really have no intention of purchasing it? I think that's something that we really need to ask ourselves. I mean, I'm just using common sense right here, but we've never heard this girl get in trouble for like a DUI, like Jack Swagger. We've never heard her getting in trouble in a way where, oh, she was found to be intoxicated or under the influence. Uh, we found drug paraphernalia on her. We've never heard anything like that from her. And if you've been following Emma's career long enough, you definitely know about her in independent circuits. You know about the contributions she's made to promotions such as Shimmer's Women's Wrestling. So, you know, for most part of her career, she's kept her nose clean. She stayed out of trouble. This genuinely comes off to me like just a silly mistake that was made, and we all have been there. And I'm just appalled by the way Walmart had did this. And look, before you guys jump on the bandwagon and say, you know, Lee, you're wrong, we got to side with Walmart on this one, let's not also forget that one of our former RCWR show guests, pro wrestler or former pro wrestler who went retired as a result of all the injuries he had sustained as a result of getting in the ring, Joe Cantrell, he also had some run-ins with Walmart, and it was downright ugly. I'm sure you guys remember that, as he had made the news and all that. So, you know, you just think about his experience, what I just told you, and I mean, hell, man, you could just go on YouTube right here or on Daily Motion. You just type in bad service at Walmart or poor Walmart customer service, or do a Bing or Google search, and you'll see so many people share stories, probably right on up to this day, of a terrible experience that they had dealing with the Walmart staff. So, you know, I just can't help but basically kind of go, Walmart, you know, you suck, you know, for operating the way that you're doing. Now, with regards to Emma being released by WWE, I think this is a boneheaded move. I mean, look, I have definitely been vocal about this girl, so I don't want longtime subscribers and viewers to call me a hypocrite, because let me just set the facts straight. I've always thought Emma was pretty solid in the ring. My only problem that I had with her was the silly little gimmick, and she's doing the whole what I call the Bangles Walk Like an Egyptian song. That's what it reminds me of. It's a combination of that. And if you know your Seinfeld, it's that infamous episode where Elaine was doing the weird dancing and all that. That's what Emma's whole gimmick reminded me of. And I just felt kind of, I won't say sad, but a little disappointed that WWE took one look at Emma and that was like the best gimmick that they could come up with. But you know what? She was making strides when she was in NXT. I can definitely say I had the fortunate pleasure of checking her out on NXT before she came up the main roster, and I loved her work in NXT. She definitely was one of a few highlights that I enjoyed from the NXT promotion. When I saw her get called up to the main roster, and she still was doing the whole Emma thing, I said, okay, well, it's probably going to take a while to catch on with the WWE universe as opposed to NXT, because the NXT, of course, they're going to be able to really latch on to the gimmick because it's all a bunch of young folks and all that. So, yeah, they're probably going to adapt to it more. They're college kids and all that. But when you start getting past the age of, I guess, maybe 25, because you've got those 30-year-olds, you've got those 40-plus-year-old ticket holders. They're going to be looking at that and they're going to be like, what the hell are we supposed to do right here? She's coming out doing what exactly are we supposed to do? So, for me, I thought it was going to be a good challenge for her on the main roster, but once we saw her get paired up with Santino, it's kind of like, really, this is the best that you have available for her. It's like Santino always gets paired up with a chick. Can we like take a break from that? Can she just maybe fly solo just as a colorful character and maybe get a rub off from some of the other divas? Hell, maybe even get a rub off of AJ Lee. And it's kind of funny because right when Emma came in, AJ Lee was still doing her thing as the Divas champion, but we didn't see some type of a program really manifest between the two because honestly, that really would have helped solidify her and maybe a position there in the WWE. Do I think WWE is embarrassed by this stunt? No doubt, but how is this any different to when Jack Swagger had got that whole thing just blown up in his face with the DUI and being in possession of weed? Honestly, if anybody had to been released, it should have been Jack Swagger because that was pretty serious. He could have seriously injured somebody because he was under the influence and he was driving a vehicle. And as you all know, that drive, when you combine any type of drug, even alcohol, with driving, I mean, you are basically a living in motion weapon. Okay, so I mean, I think Jack Swagger should have been fired, and I'm not picking on Jack Swagger. I'm just saying somewhere here we got to draw the line of what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable. You know what I'm saying? And I think in this case, WWE, I honestly feel in my heart of hearts they made a mistake releasing Emma, and that's coming from the heart. I know a lot of times I've been pretty hard on Emma, and it's all just been because of her gimmick, that's all. But she is a great in-ring performer. She's going to bounce back from this very well. She's still young. She still has a bright career ahead of her. Will we see her back in the WWE? Probably not, honestly. I think this is a case right here where it's really about who you know in the WWE and the people that are really in your favor. I think Jack Swagger has been given so many opportunities, and we can name other people too. Randy Orton, you know how many times he had abused the wellness policy in the past, doing the least littlest thing, silly, but always seem to get another opportunity. I don't see that happening with Emma. I think when you really get down to the matter, there was probably some politics going on in a way where there was probably some people that felt, you know what, she's not really going the way that we had hoped when we brought her up the main roster. And rather than let this be a case where, and it's so funny too, because now that I'm thinking about this, guys, and I don't mean to go on here, but I hope I'm making up some very valid points, but let's not also forget WWE diva Caitlyn. Let's not forget that she had got in trouble with the law a good while back while she was still with the company, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe police had came, and I believe they had arrested her at a taping of SmackDown for some unpaid parking tickets or something to that effect. And I remember there was a mugshot that was released shortly afterwards of her and all that. And worst case scenario that we saw, she was off TV for a little bit, but she came on back and she resumed whatever program that she was doing. If anything, she eventually had became the Divas champion. So this really comes off like some type of politics was going on backstage where maybe certain group of people were like, she's not going the way we thought she was going to on main WWE programming. What do we do? Do we go on ahead, send her back to NXT, or what? What do we do? Because remember, leading up to this, we actually didn't see her on main WWE programming for a couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So if she was on main WWE programming past couple of weeks, I didn't notice her. So I'll have to check my notes to see what matches she might have been involved in. But I mean, didn't see anything from her. So um, that's all I have to say with regards to that. What do you guys think about what had came about with this release? Are you a bit shocked? Are you a bit surprised, or are you not surprised? Post your comments down below. I want to get you guys involved. And if you enjoyed the way that we had covered this, please go out of your way to give this piece a like. What I'd like to do, I want to start off very small. I want to see if we can get 50 likes for this video. If we can get 50 likes for this video, I will tell you guys the next 2 to 3 people that we have coming on our show in the next couple of weeks. Some of the names you guys will probably like. And let's sweeten the pot a little bit more. Whoever will be the 50th person to give this a like, I'll give you a special shout out next time that we're on the air. But I want to start off small and then work our way up. Let's see if we can get 50 likes on this. But once again, WWE has released WWE Diva Emma from the company as of today, less than 24 hours after a shoplifting incident at Walmart. Damn that Walmart, I tell you. If it's your first time checking us out, I'd love to have you subscribe to us so you never miss out on all the great content that we do for you here on a regular weekly basis, whether it's breaking news like what we just did here, or we're kicking back, we're doing some great reviews for you, or we got some laid back interviews. We do a little bit of something. We have a little bit of something for everybody, so do go out of your way, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out. We also have episodes available for you guys to check out on the downloads, Stitcher, iTunes, Blog Talk Radio. All the links are in the episode description below, so check that out. And that is going to do it. We'll continue to stay on top of this for you guys, see if anything new comes about. As so far, Emma has not given any type of a release via social media on her WWE release. But we'll continue to stay on top of this for you guys. Until next go around, I'm wishing all y'all to be safe. And please be kind to one another. Be careful when you go to Walmart. Make sure your asses now, I can't stress this enough, make sure your asses do not forget to like ring up all your items. Make sure. I would hate for you guys to end up in this situation that Emma was in. Take care, guys.